I took the job at the Blackwood Fire. Look out, because I needed the silence. 60 feet in the air, miles away from civilization, surrounded by the endless, dense pine forests of Oregon. It was supposed to be peaceful. On my first night, I found a handwritten note taped to the radio console. It was from the previous ranger, a guy named Elias, who had quit without notice. The note was stained with coffee and the handwriting was shaky. It read, "Survival, lose for Tower 4. Keep the radio on Channel 9 until sunset. Don't look at the lights in the tree line after 2 a.m. They aren't hikers. If the wind stops suddenly, close the blinds. 4, if you hear someone climbing the stairs at night, do not open the hatch, no matter who they sound like." I laughed it off, a prank for the rookie typical. 3 weeks passed without incident. The isolation was beautiful. But tonight was different. A thick, unnatural fog had rolled in from the valley, swallowing the trees until the tower felt like an island floating in a white void. At 1 a.m., the wind died completely. The silence was heavy, like a physical weight pressing against my ears. I remembered rule number 3 and instinctively reached for the blinds, but then I froze. The sound of metal vibrating. Someone was walking up the external staircase. My stomach dropped. The nearest town was 20 miles away. The trail was washed out. No one should be here. Heavy boots on metal grates slowed on luck. I scrambled out of my chair and locked the deadbolt on the floor hatch, the only entrance to the cabin. I backed away, grabbing a flare gun from the emergency kit. The footsteps stopped right beneath the floorboards. Then a knock, 3 polite, gentle taps.
"Hey! Open up! It's freezing out here!"
My blood ran cold. It was my voice. Not just similar, it was my voice, identical pitch, identical cadence. It was like listening to a recording of myself.
Come on, stop playing around.
Just open the hatch, man. It was a perfect mimicry of how I talked to my friends, casual, impatient. I crawled toward the small window that looked down onto the catwalk. I knew I shouldn't look, but I had to know. I pressed my face against the cold glass and peered down into the fog. Standing on the metal grate was a figure wearing my ranger uniform. It had my jacket, my boots. But when it looked up, I gasped. It didn't have a face where the features should have been. There was just smooth, pale skin, no eyes, no mouth, no nose yet. The voice boomed through the floorboards, muffled and angry, vibrating directly into my skull.
Open the hatch.
The voice wasn't coming from a mouth. It was coming from everywhere. It was projecting into my mind. The thing raised a hand. Its fingers were wrong. Too many joints, too long, bending backward like broken twigs. It began to scratch the metal door. Scritch, scritch, scritch. I scrambled back to the radio, frantically switching channels. Mayday. Tower 4 to base. There is something outside. Static hissed back then. The radio cut through the noise clearly. But it wasn't the dispatcher. It was my voice again, coming from the radio speaker. "There's no one at base, buddy. Just open the door. I'm cold." The scratching on the hatch got louder, faster. The metal began to bend inward. The thing wasn't using tools. It was peeling the steel open with those impossible fingers. I looked out the window one last time. The fog had lifted slightly. Below, in the tree line, I saw them, hundreds of them, pale figures, all standing perfectly still, looking up at my tower, waiting. The hatch hinges screamed as they snapped. The last thing I realized before the darkness took me was that I never actually locked the window. Oh.